Hey, what's up YouTube? So I wanted to show you my Prius car camping setup. The reason being, I think it's good just to, look at other people's setups, see what works for them. So the setup isn't perfect, but it's been decent enough. How I've got it set up right now is that the bed is permanently on one side and then all my stuff is on the other side. And that's just nice because I don't have to worry about moving stuff out of the way to set up my bed. In the past, I had a full-size bed set up and I would have to move all my stuff, and it just became this whole thing that wasn't really working. So this has been really nice, keeping the bed on one side. I don't have any fancy sleeping pad or anything. This is just a mattress topper that I use at home. It's a full size that's folded in half actually, and it's quite soft. And then I've just got my regular bedding from home. Works for me. Sleeping bags aren't really as comfortable in my experience. This stuff's nice and breathable. So I've got the cooler here. Keep refrigerated stuff. I really like to try to, cook my own food when I'm camping. You don't have to buy the fanciest brand cooler. That's one thing I kind of regret, just because I didn't have to spend this much on a cooler. I think much more important than that is how you prepare your cooler. If you pre-chill your cooler, that's going to help you a lot with keeping things cold for a longer time. Behind the cooler, let me give you a better view. Behind the cooler, I've got my toolbox. This is really not that necessary, but I just like to be prepared. You never know when a couple tools might come in handy. Let me show you what's in here though. So I've got phone battery pack. That's pretty important. I usually charge my phone off of my car when I can, but I'm not always running it, so this is nice to have. I've also got an inflator for my tires in case you need to reinflate a tire or if you decide to air them down. I'd say that's a pretty useful thing. Then this is also where I keep my ratchet straps and bungees. And then in these drawers, I've just got random stuff. There's garbage bags, there's Ziploc bags, zip ties. I got plastic and metal zip ties. That can be really good for an on-the-go repair. Honestly, I haven't used any of this yet, but if I did need it, I would be glad that I had it. And then I've also got an adjustable wrench, screwdrivers, clothespins. I don't know why I have those. A Sharpie, that could be useful. And then I've also got pliers and Allen keys. So not really necessary, but I had the space for it and I just like to be prepared. Taking you around to the side here. Behind the tools, I've got this 5-gallon bucket here. This is full of dry food items. So I've got salt, flour, spices, mac and cheese, just stuff I can eat. And then I've also got this little box here of just more dry food because it didn't all fit. Got some fruit bars, chocolate bar, have some onions. I'm gonna use those tonight actually. I'm gonna be cooking. And then right here, this pack out box is my kitchen box. It's honestly not the perfect setup because I have to take things out to get to other things. My cutting board is at the very bottom of this, and that can just be tricky. If you want to see more in depth of my kitchen setup, check out my other video I'll be posting about my trip. But I just got the basics in here: silverware, cutting board, stuff to wash dishes, cups, paper towels, rags, spatulas, all that kind of stuff. Just whatever you use the most at home, Down here, got a little backpack that has my toothbrush and hygiene stuff, notebooks, whatever. And then down below this, I've got a camp stove. I bought this on Facebook Marketplace for $40, which I think is a great deal. Runs on propane, it's got 2 burners. And yeah, this is probably my favorite part of camping right now. So I'm gonna take that out actually. And then another recent addition that I'm really glad I got was just this foldable plastic table for when I'm cooking, you know. I can just set that up, have a space to cook, so I'm not doing it on the ground. So that's really useful. Nothing too fancy going on here, really. Got my water. I got this at the thrift store for $5. So in the passenger seat, just got this duffel that has my clothing in it, and then up here is my trash and recycling. And then my bed actually extends basically up to here. Let me give you a closer look at that. So I've actually got the passenger seat folded flat. I recently learned you can do this with a Prius. All you have to do is take out your headrest, slide the seat all the way forward, and then lean it back. And your back seat has to be folded up, but then you can kind of just shove it flat. So this actually isn't the best for space, having the seat folded flat, but it makes it so much easier to climb from my bed to the driver's seat, which is something I do quite often, so it's worth it. Up here, I've got this silly little cargo net. Got this cargo net here, and this thing, it's pretty useful, but it's kind of annoying sometimes. So the reason it's annoying is because when I'm sitting in the driver's seat, it's like pushing on where my head would go. So what I usually do is take this down every time I drive, but it's worth it to have it up because when I'm sleeping here, there's just so many little loose items that I want to keep out of the way, whether that's like books or maps or my binoculars, you know, or like I even put like loose clothing like my hoodie or like extra layers on top here. So that's actually been super nice, but it hangs really low, so if you're driving, it takes away from your visibility and comfort. So I've just been taking it down and putting it on top of the bed. But yeah, it's pretty comfortable back here. One thing I'll say with the bed, so I've been sleeping with my head this way this trip just because that's how it fits, but previously I would sleep with my head towards the trunk, and that was really nice because I could look up and see the stars through the hatch, you know. Reason I couldn't do that is just because of space. With the cooler and the toolbox back there, there's just barely enough space to put my legs, so I couldn't imagine like squishing my shoulders back there, you know. But this works for now, but in the future I'd really like to figure out how to turn it around again. On this other side, this is where I'll typically keep my camping chair, and then on top I've got the propane fuel. So when I'm driving, I keep that in the car, but when I'm sleeping, I keep it outside of the vehicle. Apparently, here, let me just sit down real quick. So the thing with these propane cylinders is apparently they have like a release valve that can vent propane. And you know, that can just be dangerous to breathe. It can also be like a fire risk. So you do want to be careful when you're transporting these, just mindful of how you're doing it. I've been driving with them in the car, which has been fine, but just want to keep that in mind. That's the basic setup. I'd love to hear what works for you, or if you learned anything useful from this. You know, I think we can all learn something from each other and help each other out, just have a nicer camping setup. If you have any suggestions for me, let me know, because I'm always trying to improve this setup, work with what little space I have. One last thing I'll say is one thing I wish I had, which is a tow hitch on my car, because with that I could mount on like a bike carrier or an extra storage box, and having something like that would be super nice. I don't like keeping too much on the roof basket when I'm at highway speeds, you know, just because you have to strap it down and it adds so much noise and drag. Makes my already slow car even slower. So yeah, thanks for watching.